So I'm going to call our meeting to order. Are there any agenda additions or deletions?
Yes, so Rob, you have a deletion?
Huh? Yeah, the grant thing, we're just not ready to meet that May 17th deadline. You know, we're just
Okay.
starting the committee, you know, and I thought
Okay.
there might be a way to get in there if there was.
The application was a lot more involved too.
More involved than, when I did it, it was always one page.
And now it's,
One page. But it was not for a lot of money, but boy, the checks that they have now. So I think working with the committee,
Yeah.
we'll try to apply in January 2025. Maybe.
Okay.
If we, after we look at this closer. But,
sounds good. So the
but I'm
committee's gonna
also
stay
gonna speak with them
together.
about the $4,000 left in the tree budget that we might use danger trees and pruning in town.
Okay.
And then I'll put it by the board,
Okay,
by the commission.
We're gonna delete that, and I'd like to add,
Okay.
we have 2 applications that are in front of you for concessions.
oh, great,
And it'd be nice to get those
okay.
discussed so we can finish up
Yes, so we can
our
finish it up.
hiring. So,
Okay.
Elfin Lake applications, we'll add that. And we did get a call today from a Fairhaven teacher who would like to use Elfin Lake for an end-of-school picnic.
Oh, okay,
So maybe add that too, because
Yes.
if we wait till the 20th, that might
might be too late.
be too late, yeah. So, Elfin Lake use request, we'll add that.
Okay. So we have a deletion and a couple of additions.
Additions, right.
Okay,
You can just put them in wherever you want.
okay. Okay, let's see where we can put that. Why don't we put it in where the, tree planting grant would have been?
Oh, both of them?
Yeah,
Perfect.
we'll just put the additions right in there.
Okay.
So where, instead of the Vermont Community Tree Planting Grant, that's been deleted, and we are going to add our Wallingford use application and a couple of concession applications. Great. Okay, so let's continue. Let's see, the minutes, and then we'll do the pay orders.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Please look over the minutes for April 15th, 2024. Let me know if you notice anything. That doesn't look correct. Not hearing anything. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of April
Aye.
15th?
Aye.
Okay, aye. And now we're on to pay orders. Okay. Is it the same number, is it the same number that is on here, the
1 minute, yeah.
1,697,148.25? Correct? 26, sorry, it's my eyes. I should wear
Yes.
readers and,
That's it, that's the right number. The other one that Julie updated was from the previous, and she just, because we didn't make one payment, she just wants you folks to re-sign it
Okay.
with a lesser amount, so.
okay. Sounds good. So do we have a motion?
Now I move we accept the pay orders.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor of approving the pay orders?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We are on to road commissioner reports.
Haven't been here for a little while, as
Welcome
everybody
back.
knows.
Good to see you.
Steve's been out grading. He did some in Sugar Hill last week. The end of the week, he moved to Hartsboro Road and Homerstone, did little areas on West Hill, I think, right now, or Dugway, I don't remember which one, today. So he's making his rounds, getting some of the bigger holes filled before he goes back and does another grading. And Mother Nature had stopped raining, it would help him out a little bit. As far as, I think it's paving grants.
Paving, yeah,
Yeah.
well, paving.
Paving grants, we talked about the rest of Homerstone
Okay.
down that end. We haven't done much of that in the last quite a few years. And North End Drive. And I think that'll probably put a big dent in the budget. We'll have a backup for a third if we need to.
And that's the 85,000?
Yes. Yeah, Wilt still has to come and do East Wallingford, the Seward Hill, Sugar Hill intersection, and they have to come over and do the
Transfer station.
transfer station,
Okay.
route to the gates
Are
and
they
out
gonna
to the
do that
front.
before June 30th?
Yes, they promised me it'd be done by the 15th. They did get their plan up and running. I talked to them
Okay.
again last week.
By June 15th or May 15th?
June.
June 15th.
That way it's spilled out so it falls in the physical year
Okay.
before we roll over to the next. There was 3 or 4 things on there, I remember, and I didn't bring it.
What about the septic tank at the lake? Do we
Yeah.
need
We
that
do.
pumped?
We
Should we
had that pumped 3 years ago, didn't we?
Okay.
I'm not sure if,
Then.
what little use that tank gets, I wouldn't think it would need
Well, we
it.
have the camp over there now,
Yeah.
full time,
Yeah.
the summer camp.
So it's been used more, it was used more last year than it had been in the past.
But you're talking basically 2 months a year,
Okay. Right. Yep.
and it's just 8 hours a day, there's no showers running in it to speak of, no wash.
And it's
water.
just, weekdays, it's not.
It's
so
up to the town, but I wouldn't think it'd need it.
I say, you're gonna get mostly liquid out of it.
I'm thinking you're just gonna pump water and pay for water going
Yeah.
away.
So what do you think, how often should it be pumped? Are you thinking like 5 years, 6 years?
Some people go 10 or 15, I
Okay.
mean, depends on the use.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
You put some,
depends if the leach feels good and
Okay.
everything's set up right. I've been 25 years.
I wanna prevent
Yes.
I mean, if
big
you,
bill like last year.
Yeah, but that wasn't,
That
I'm gonna
wasn't
say-
overuse, it was clogging.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna change that.
throw a couple pounds of Hamburg down it every once a year and it'll help, no,
no, I know it's,
Yeast cakes,
well, yeah,
yeah.
either way, but,
Yeah, but the hamburger's expensive now.
well,
Can't be
yeah, no.
throwing that down there.
cheaper to pump it.
Just something to create the bacteria to help break it
Yeah.
down and you get
Okay.
even longer out of it,
Yeast
so,
works well.
yeah.
Okay.
And, tree cutting, you and Rob gonna get together on Haven
Rob and
Hill?
I talked about that, but we haven't got there yet.
No, I haven't.
We've looked at them.
Yeah. Want to do it tomorrow?
Yeah, we can do it tomorrow. What time?
10 o'clock.
I don't know where I'm gonna be at 10. I'll call you.
Okay.
Yep, I'll
No,
try to be in town by 10.
I'm not committed tomorrow, because Elder's going, so.
Because Rob went up one time and looked at them, and I went up another time and looked at them.
We
and
weren't
We
sure.
need to get together and figure out what we wanna do
And how,
and what the town will take care of and
yeah.
what we need Rob to do.
I'm too old to pick them up anymore.
We also
I agree with
have,
that. I'm too old for that.
we also have a tree next to the pedestrian bridge that's, growing
Oh, yeah.
into the bridge.
Yes.
Oh,
I sent both of
down
you a
one
picture.
forty
of that.
there?
Right, on the,
Yeah.
on Waldo Lane,
Yeah.
the pedestrian bridge is,
Oh,
There's a tree growing into
Yeah.
it. Sandy has a picture, we were sent the picture.
yeah, I sent it to both.
It
Yep.
is-
there's one under Railroad Street too, in the Roaring Brook, under the bridge facing this way. I don't know whose responsibility that is.
But the one on the pedestrian bridge is like really impacting the
Now
bridge
this-
too.
Yes.
On Waldo Lane?
Yeah, the one
Can
from
we
the
prune it?
Ballfield over.
Oh,
I wonder if we can just prune that back.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't think it needs to be cut down, just bring back.
This is the bridge that goes from.
Ball diamond to the pit.
Okay.
I didn't even know there was one, but Sandy mentioned it this week.
Oh, yeah.
And
The road signs, you can tell the crews, they're all theirs.
well, I'm gonna say, I know.
I finished them-
actually,
I
was gonna
finished
bring
it
up, I
today.
know they were sitting in a box when I was
Road
down there
signs are
Friday.
done?
Rob,
Road signs are done.
Oh, that thing was cut,
Thank you.
just
Yeah.
cut it down.
that's right.
I got them all done. They've sent me the instructions on how to do it
Just,
after I'm done.
never mind pruning.
Yeah, just,
You prune forever.
Okay,
In fact, it's gonna sucker back up probably.
I'm like, gee, thanks.
okay.
so, the other thing was the signs, which you just answered for me.
Yeah.
And the other was, there's still one more thing. I just thought of it now. You mentioned the signs and I forgot.
Mark fixed them.
What was there was one more thing on that list.
Well, there's are we gonna keep the 2014 International for parts spare?
20, oh, I don't know
Clarendon
why.
The one purchased from Clarendon.
I don't know why. It fits nothing.
Okay,
I don't know what to do. The only thing I can think of was possibly giving somebody like a company named Iron Mat a call.
okay.
They're a salvage company
Okay.
and they'll give you a flat price for it.
Okay,
That's, I don't think you'll ever sell that.
okay.
I don't know.
I understand that the state auction is this weekend.
Yes.
Is it worth, I mean, not sure what we have for funds or whatever, but wouldn't it be nice to have a spare truck? Even something that sits there 90% of the time that comes out when we really need
Let's
it?
try to get a new one first.
Well, but that's 2 years down the road. or
Exactly,
Yeah.
Plus,
yeah.
I mean, cause that's not in the budget for at least a couple more years. I'm just,
So is that an option, the state auction coming up?
for a used truck,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, I'm just.
I just,
Patch on me right
I don't think it's, we tried it with the town of Clarendon. It was a good truck. It just didn't take it. It didn't last.
Right.
And you're gonna run into the same thing they're used.
because you're getting something that's already been used to the point of a town and state not
Yeah.
being able to use it.
Gotcha. Okay.
They try to keep them rotated and stuff, so, the best thing I think we should do is try to wing it with what we have and hopefully, I went to the, show of the expo last weekend, presuming there would be every dealer in the world up there to sell trucks to talk to, and there wasn't a single dealer up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not a one.
Yeah,
So, I don't know why, now I'm gonna have
Probably
to
don't
run
have
around and
anything to
look at
sell.
it.
Is Iron Mat someplace you could call?
Yeah, I can call them.
Okay.
They're just a huge salvage yard that buys old
Okay.
equipment.
All right.
Would it, off the cuff, I mean, the biggest problem we're having in these trucks is the technology that's in them.
Yeah.
Would it be worth looking at somebody that's got a deuce and a half that we can chain up to use for East Wallingford? Maybe slow, but they're kind of reliable. I'm just kind of,
I know what
I
you're
hate
saying.
beating on those trucks all the time up there.
yeah.
Well, the loader and the grader should be up there
Well, yeah,
instead of
Oh, I agree.
the trucks. That would save them.
Well, that's what I said. That's why I was looking at, like an old deuce and a half or something.
Yeah.
Some old battle axe and chain it up and put a plow on it and go.
But my thought on it is you got to register it, insure it,
Right.
keep it roadworthy, and it may be a bigger headache doing that than what it's worth and just taking and going with a grader and a loader up there. Those
Yeah.
are both new.
Yeah, but it takes an awful beating on that. I'm just saying to replace, instead of running a truck up through there,
Well,
you run the grader and loader. I agree, but
normal weather, which we can't say this year was normal for sure. It's not a problem. It's just when you get those storms that are dropping a foot every hour and a half.
Yeah, what?
yeah.
Up in there, wet, heavy snow,
And you
Yeah.
get 6 inches here, Sugar Hill
it
has.
gets 18.
18.
Yeah. So I think you've probably thrown good money away.
Okay. I know. Like I said, I was
Well,
just
it's a chance of trying to find,
trying to
something
save
that's really good.
$200,000 truck.
well,
Getting beat to death up there.
yeah, that's what they're made for. They're supposed to do that.
Well, I'm not real,
They're supposed to do
they're
that.
supposed to do that, do they? not anymore,
Yeah,
but,
but if we keep buying used ones, we're,
Usually they're gonna be the same
Right.
issue. You know, I think we better off try to save the money and put it into newer trucks and run the newer stuff and,
yeah, well, like I said, I just,
cause the older trucks are just gonna break down and then you're gonna have issues with, same as this 14 we had.
Right.
We tried it, it didn't work, you know? I presume that would be a fairly good truck, 'cause it had low mileage and stuff.
Is there a sinking fund? Truck sinking fund? No.
Yeah, there is, it's an equipment fund, but
Yeah.
it doesn't, when you're talking 250,000 for another one.
Don't we get, you know, municipal rates, we get 1% or whatever?
Yeah, but it's still
Still a lot of money.
275,000 for a truck probably.
Yeah.
The problem is that sinking fund.
Nothing to trade in.
What I wanted to do 2 years ago is go to the vote and have the town put 75,000 away or 100,000 like Clarendon does every year for a slush fund. And then you'd have the money, you wouldn't have to take a loan for it.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. Didn't even put it in.
Might be an idea
Yeah, we have
that, the
57
voters
on
would buy.
Yeah.
I mean, the voters buy it in Clarendon, right?
Yeah, they voted it in.
They voted
it in. They put 100,000 a year down
Yeah.
on equipment replacement.
So that's something that if people are up for discussing, we can discuss if we wanted to put something like that on the ballot.
Yeah, it has to go on the
as we go
ballot.
through the year, get closer to budget time.
Yes.
we-
Yeah, we talked about it 2 years ago.
Well, it looks like it's back on,
Well, I just think it's gonna save a lot of headaches.
at least back on discussion, so.
I mean, cause you're out kinda looking for a truck now.
Yep.
Figuring out what we wanna do, because it takes 2 years
Yep.
to get it, so by the time it gets here, we're gonna have a truck that's ready for replacement.
Why does it take 2 years?
That's how
So-
far,
Yeah.
that's how
3
far
years.
out they are.
Took 3 years for the
For a
grader.
new truck.
New
Yeah.
truck, yes.
Yeah. Took 3+ years for the
Chainsaws
grader.
are farther.
Yeah.
So it sounds like through consensus, this board is up for discussing this when we get into budget season?
Yeah.
For the following budget coming up? Okay.
I mean, all of our equipment, how much we've been trying to replace it, and it's
Yeah.
never ending.
Yeah, I mean, now you got the loader, everything's
Yep.
You've got,
good shape, except for now the trucks are gonna be
you're gonna
your,
have
So,
2 trucks that should have been rolled over by now.
right.
In another year or so, you're gonna have a 550 that should have been rolled over.
so,
And it takes so long to get everything processed by the
Yep.
time, and then that is why we cannot get roads done, we cannot get stuff done, is because we don't have the equipment, which means because we don't have the
so
money.
if we go ahead and discuss this again during budget time.
Second fund?
Yes, sinking fund, talk about whether we want to present that to voters.
Let them make the decision.
Exactly,
They wanna do it.
exactly.
Save on
And
the-
then if we are able to get something through, then we would have money for things when things came up.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, anything else, Bill?
Don't think-
And a
We
what?
have, yes,
Yeah.
Ann A wanted to
So
see if
Ann.
we're-
Yes.
Hi, we have you on the agenda with your letter.
So you need a load of mulch basically dumped down on a corner somewhere?
There's access right on the site, so it wouldn't be on the road at all.
Okay,
Okay.
something,
Now, is that's something we can get from True Temper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
They're donating the mulch.
Yep, okay.
It was already at True Temple who asked me about using the town dump truck because he has difficulty if, it would take 5 or 6 pickup trucks
Yeah, I mean,
to do it, and for him to coordinate that might make him less likely to donate
Yeah.
mulch in the future.
yeah, you're talking a half an hour project.
right,
So
Is
this
it-
would be for Saturday, June 8th, around 9 AM.
we can have it
Well,
there
it-
beforehand.
Well, they have
It
to-
wouldn't have to be dumped on Saturday, it could be put any time
So
during the
anytime.
Yeah,
week or
previous
so
week,
before.
So like
Yeah.
a week before.
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
Okay.
Great.
Great, so,
We'll just send one of them over with a dump truck and get a load of it for you.
great, so we'll put that on
What's the 8th of June, you said?
The 8th of June,
Well,
so
that's
we
gotta
have
be
to do the
before.
work, so
The
if we
first
do it
week,
before
first full
that,
week of June.
yeah, like the first week of June would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, awesome, great, there you go.
Thank you.
Can they load it over there, True Temper?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they got a big loader. They actually have a load dock for their barn mulch.
oh, do
They
they?
load box trailers all the time.
You might have seen the Front Porch Forum appeal for volunteers, and we have 18 people signed up to show up.
Wow.
Be there that Saturday morning.
Fabulous, wow.
And I
Yeah,
have a
thank you.
recipe for knotweed compote with honey sauce, in case anyone's interested. There was a huge discussion on the Front Porch Forum. It was
Gotcha.
really a riot. Okay, well,
And
thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Okay, moving on. To honorable mentions, we'd like to thank Richard Korchak, who has purchased 2 new medical walkers for the town to lend out as needed. Thank you very much to Richard. And now we're at public comments. Do we have anybody here as a member of the public? No? Okay. Let's move on to town hall boiler replacement.
Can we do the heat pump one first?
Oh, you want to do heat pump
Because
first?
Ken's here and Ralph
Sure.
hasn't shown up yet.
Here we go. So let's go ahead and, is everybody okay with that? We do
Yeah.
heat pump first? Thank you, Ken. So town hall heat pumps, request for proposal.
So we got a letter back from the State Historical Preservation Group. And they are now, one said, well, we don't have any concerns, forwarded it to somebody else who was actually in charge, and they have concerns. So, I don't know, it's my opinion that maybe this is something until everything is done and they give us, you know, their blessing that we table. Because we've got the boiler, I mean, I think the boiler is probably more of a critical issue this year. That's just my opinion than the heat pumps. And also we've got the ceiling and the paint, the caulking and sealing and painting going on in the building, so maybe that's enough of the projects for the winter, or for the year. And we wait until next year to, gives us a chance to actually figure out what we're gonna do. Just, that's my opinion, but.
Well, that's fine. I mean, the package is complete as it is. You can pick it up whenever.
Right.
Do you know the nature of their concern?
They didn't say, they sent an email today that said they had a number of questions and they'd like to set up a meeting. So I responded that, you know, maybe somebody from the select board and certainly the energy committee, because you would have whatever answers. They did want to know where the money was coming from, that was one, but they had a number of other questions. So right now, they're just looking for, to set up a meeting, so.
Okay, yeah, I'm amenable whenever you get it set up.
Okay, all right, so maybe some dates and times tomorrow, we can talk about it, and I can send some dates and times to them.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome.
Now Ralph is here, so now we can do the.
So now,
I'm early, just for the record.
well, this is perfect. This is great.
Sign in so we know you're here.
I'll do it later.
Okay. So now the town hall boiler replacement. We have a estimate here. There we go. And it looks like, if I'm looking at the right document, that, it is the 4,000, that,
For engineering services only.
yes, okay. Okay.
So we did get an estimate from
Parker Gas.
Procter Gas to put they recommended a 500 gallon tank, fill it once a week. And they said they put a,
No, it's like you said 3 times a winter, didn't it?
he said they will have, the load is not big and we will have a Wallingford once a week. And we can put the tank monitor on so we can monitor it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it wouldn't need it once a week. Probably
Right.
3 fills a winter, he
Right.
thought.
Okay.
You know, he was,
So we didn't tell him that we were switching to heat pumps.
Yes, we just put that off, Ralph, before you got here.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yep.
So that,
Because there seemed to be now, Sandy got an email today, that the Historic Preservation would like to set up a meeting, because they have some questions.
well, they
heat
haven't,
pumps?
they haven't seen it yet. So how could they make a decision anyway, right?
Well, that's it, they're not making any decision, but they're also saying that, so we should wait on taking action.
On the heat pumps, yeah,
Yes, on the
they
heat
got a
pumps.
copy of their request for proposal, which has a diagram and description in it, but they have questions, so.
Okay. So we have a proposal from Project Gas. We see how much the estimate is gonna be for the engineering.
Was the engineering for the furnace also included in the heat pumps?
no,
No.
No, it's just the boiler.
Okay, well, it just says, I'm just looking at the Engineering Services of Vermont and second floor AC heat
Yes.
pump valuation, so that's included.
so, yeah, looking to change over the air cooling on the second floor and put heat pumps instead. Instead of air conditioning.
Right.
You'd have air conditioning and heat up there. And so this propane would be supplemental to heat pumps. It's, you know, when it's really cold, when you have an event, you can turn on the propane, you can heat it up in a short time or a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, heat pumps up there, you know, would take a long time.
Okay.
So it gives you a reserve to work with, and I think I don't know if I mentioned that scheduling events, trying to use the upstairs as much as possible in succession.
Yeah.
With some groups can, rather than heating it up for an hour or two meeting,
Right.
that could help a lot. So there's some,
Sign in here.
Okay.
So we had both Suburban and Procter Gas here, and they both are recommending a spot out in the side lawn. We can see where we put a stake in.
Yeah, there's a stick out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so excavation is free.
And
And so, a survey is no longer needed?
no,
It's so obvious that the line is where the hedges are, and on the other side of the pole.
regardless of where the line is, there's no buildable land on the other side of it. And that's what it has to stay away from,
That's true.
buildable land, not just the line, buildable land.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems reasonable. I mean, I tried to get a surveyor to look at it. Well, it can be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I don't know. I have to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then I just got very evasive, and it seems logical to me. I don't have
He
insurance anymore, so.
The guy from Project Gas was knowledgeable about that, and he knew, you know, buildable land, and he said, what are your zoning like? That building's there, there's no garage going in there. I know. Not a building, buildable land is farther from the building.
So that tank's not much bigger than the length of the stable.
Yeah.
It's about the same thing, about this big around, goes in the ground, 500 gallons.
Okay.
Should be okay as a supplemental fuel.
And it has a dome above the ground about
And
this.
they can fill it from the road.
Yeah.
So I'm good, just for next year, that's gonna be the primary heat.
Right, right.
Yeah.
For at least a year, it'll be the
Yes.
primary heat source.
Right.
So,
I would like to talk to the engineers about converting those air conditioners up there and give you an option there.
To heat pumps?
Yeah,
We were just talking about that before you came in, and we're gonna hold off, we were just talking about holding off on the heat pumps in
you're
any
talking about down
shape,
here though.
everywhere.
Okay,
Just until we know what we can and can't do to the building.
Exactly.
Because
okay.
the state, the preservation is not sure what they will and won't let us do on the, on the
So we
building.
just wanna make sure before we commit.
Just to
Yeah.
be clear, the RFP that's currently ready to go is just for this floor. We haven't put out any kind of RFP for the second floor.
Okay.
And that won't be affected at all by historic preservation because they would replace the Lennox units that are out there.
Right,
For the second floor?
Oh, okay.
yeah, so,
Okay.
it's not gonna look any worse.
So it's just an upgrade?
Right, exactly. And those Lennox units are getting pretty old.
Uh-huh.
So that would be you're saying the primary source of heat for upstairs, but the furnace would be the primary source for this year for downstairs. The heat pumps upstairs, if that's the way we just turned around and went,
The furnace and boiler, yeah,
yeah,
is still gonna service upstairs
right.
and here until you get the heat pumps in. But then it'll use a lot less fuel.
Okay.
So we don't see the need for a bigger tank.
Okay.
They're a couple $1,000s more for the next tank.
So we wouldn't need a meter tank. We would not need a meter tank. Is that what you just said, Brad?
No, a propane tank.
Okay.
No, we will need a propane, I'm sorry. We do the boiler over, we need a propane tank.
Okay.
And that propane tank can serve upstairs later and can serve anything we need on this floor, which are a couple of things.
So what's in question are the heat pumps down here?
So, well, not thinking that this is gonna replace the Lennox unit. So the plumbing is theoretically there. We're gonna remove what's there and put in the new. I'm not sure how they'll feel about that as long as it's exactly where it was.
Yeah.
Same place, I think.
Well, so that would be
Okay.
so maybe a question to ask. So we got two parts.
Yes.
First question would be, if we're replacing the upstairs unit, which is in there now, with heat pump, do we need their permission to replace it, to upgrade it?
Right.
And then downstairs, we know we need their permission for down here.
Yeah. Yep.
Why does the RFP not include all of this, both floors? Are we thinking of doing this separate years, or, I mean, if we were gonna hire
Yeah.
a contractor to do heat pumps, why wouldn't we include the second floor on it?
Well, because we only concentrated on this floor with the RFP that we've completed.
I know, but why wouldn't we not?
Yeah.
If we're gonna go heat pumps, why are we not just doing the whole building? And then we don't have all,
We just didn't want to do that.
We didn't realize the potential of turning those over to heat pumps
Okay.
at the time.
Okay.
And now it seems like a reasonable
So maybe
plan
now,
for the future.
do we,
well, now that we're delayed because of historic preservation, would
Yes.
it make sense to just put one
Right.
RFP out for everything?
yeah, is that a possibility or is that off the table?
No, that's definitely possible.
Okay.
Because in the scenario that Ralph is talking about, the heat pump is still going to need an exterior component,
Exactly.
just like the project that we've already scoped out.
Right.
So potentially, depending on whatever historic preservation's concerns are,
Yes.
it's going to be addressed by that project also.
There we go. So,
Okay.
So when we set up the meeting, we can ask some of those questions.
The whole thing, that's to both ends.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the goal, the future for the foreseeable future.
okay.
until we get a huge solar farm somewhere.
So it seems like we've got a couple
Batteries.
decisions here to make.
Well,
Like, do we direct the energy committee to make up an RFP for both floors?
Right.
well, we had just, before you got here, talked about holding off on the
Yeah.
heat pumps until everything else is done to
To
the
the
furnaces
propane.
repaired or replaced, the propane tanks are in, the painting and all of that stuff is done, and then come back possibly, for next year's budget and look at doing the heat pumps. And now we're looking
Okay.
at both up and down.
Okay. And then why not, just because we still have lots in the asset fund for the ARPA funds, why not think about it coming from there?
Well, I
Just 'cause
think
we
that's
haven't
where
had-
it was planning on coming from.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
It's just
So
we don't
not
have
the
to-
building fund, but from the ARPA fund.
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So just thinking like, why not get, if we, I guess the other thing is like, if we're doing this whole heating revamp of the system,
Right.
why do it in chunks when we have the money to do it all at once?
Right.
Theoretically. Or maybe, I don't know if we do, but like, cause if we do the painting,
Right.
then they might have to repaint or they might have to reseal something.
Exactly.
And
So it
then,
makes sense to,
I mean, what are you thinking, Mark, that
Well, I'm
doesn't
just
sound-
thinking the total, well, first of all, we don't have, the historical preservation came back with.
We haven't looked at it, yeah.
Well, they have to look at it. They want a meeting on site to discuss how it's going to take.
Okay.
We should see what their issues are.
Right.
Yeah, for
because
no
if
matter
it's
before we do
minor,
anything,
right.
yeah, but,
And they might have alterations, which we would need to include in the RFP and.
yeah.
So I mean, I thought we were just holding it to see what they have to say,
Right.
kind of, so.
Yeah.
Before we
I get that.
hold it, push it out, we should just see what that comes out of that meeting.
and so then I guess the question is, do we still have a question on the propane tank? We're
Well,
putting,
we have to get a price on replacing the boiler.
okay,
So,
Now, I should mention this, I guess, when we put a new propane boiler in there, it needs an air intake and an exhaust that usually goes right through the wall.
well, we can do the exhaust through the existing chimney, right?
Yeah, let's start preservation about that now too.
They says no.
We're not doing anything to the chimney.
That's what I mean, if he just said, are we gonna put a
Oh,
vent
through
to
the
the
walls,
wall?
that won't happen, right. No, I'm saying use the existing chimney.
Oh, okay.
But does it need to directly vent out right away? I don't know if it can go,
so it needs to vent out right away.
And our chimney didn't have the lining or something, we discussed
Yeah.
Well,
that.
we're gonna run a pipe all the way up.
Existing chimney used for anything else?
No,
Oh, okay. So,
but you'll have to repipe it.
yeah,
Because it's non-line, but, so that you're saying the air inlet has to be, you can't run a double wall pipe or two pipes up the chimney, one for air, one for,
it's gotta be direct.
It should go right out. I mean, you're talking a
yeah.
4-inch pipe, and they have to be a
Okay,
certain
well.
height. So that would be part of a bid package, I suppose, to describe that, just how it's to be done. We don't want them to just wing it.
Okay, right. So is that part of the engineering
It
services?
would be.
Okay, and now does this engineering service estimate include everything that we just discussed? Because do we
It
need to
wasn't
have it
quite-
all included?
It wasn't, the heat pumps for the auditorium, he would offer some advice on that. He wasn't quite sure how far that was gonna go,
Okay,
what we were gonna do with this, but I suspect that we're covered.
that this would cover it,
I think so.
okay.
He's been very reasonable, and
So with us waiting on things, do we need to make a decision on any of this evening?
You've got to make a decision on hiring the engineer,
Okay,
because boiler replacement's not going to start until you've hired the engineer.
okay,
And until we know what the engineer thinks that we need to have done to the exterior of the building to make this work is what we need for the, before we can move forward past the
And can we
story.
decide on hiring the engineer before the meeting for what historic preservation?
Yeah, cause that's just about heat pumps.
Okay.
And they're
So-
gonna have to determine the preservation where that air inlet can go.
Right. Yep,
For the
for the
Boiler?
furnace, for the boiler.
Well, whatever, yeah, whatever the engineer comes up with, we can
Right.
share with
So
historic
we'll have to do
preservation.
that prior.
Prior,
we'll have to-
okay.
We'll have to have that design done prior to setting up
So-
a meeting with the state.
It sounds like we need a motion.
Maybe a final review of the design, I suppose, may be prudent.
Or, I mean, even a preliminary idea
Okay.
where they want
Okay.
The things
the
that,
inlet to go first.
the things that would affect the, historic preservation, not any of the engineering, how it's gonna work.
We don't
Just-
want a pipe running up the side of the building or anything
Right,
like that.
right,
or-
yeah.
There won't be a unit outside or anything.
There'd just be, unfortunately not a hole in it. I know how they were, like I said, it all goes back to what they said about the generator and, we're talking a hole this big around, so they didn't want it. So that's why we,
Well, we don't want to move the boiler room, so.
Right.
yeah.
So this might be a little different than a generator. You need heat.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The generator was also gonna be staying outside and everything, so
Yes.
this is a different deal.
This
So
is
they
a
might
different
look
deal.
at it differently.
Yep. Okay.
so the engineer will put together the RFP for both the furnace, the boiler, and the heat pumps.
I don't know if we can say that.
I don't-
He was only going to offer opinions on the second filler heat pump. He wasn't necessarily going to do the design.
I think you're right, but I'm not sure.
Well,
I don't think he was sure of the difficulty in doing that, so
Okay.
we need to talk with him more about it. It was,
Well, if we don't get a decision tonight on hiring him, we can't proceed.
But we can make a decision on, if we're looking for a quote for what upstairs would also be, so we could do this all at once. If we don't have that quote, then we can't say, oh, we're gonna give you $4,000 for the engineer, and then he says, oh, come back at 2 to start the work. Like, it's,
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
because the other thing you're up against is the timing here. Some people have looked at that boiler and said, they're surprised it lasted through this winter. It might not last.
Can we,
And you've got incredible lead times on all this stuff. After you, the
No, for
design
sure, yeah.
goes out to
Yeah.
bid and everything like that, you could have, a month or 2 lead time. And hopefully you even get,
Right.
being able to get a contractor on site. By the way, if you were still looking at an oil boiler, the lead time on that is 60 weeks.
can we do the engineer right now to design the boiler portion of this only?
I
And
think
then,
that's what we should do.
and then we've already got a general idea what we want to do with the heat pumps downstairs. And as we're talking with the preservation committee, we can
Okay.
throw that idea in.
Yeah, the Energy Committee felt that we could do the heat pump project without an engineer.
okay,
Oh,
so we
okay,
don't, so
okay.
we don't,
Just need it for
I just got
propane.
confused about what the
Right.
engineer is just for the propane, to see how that.
With some guidance on future of the
Yes.
heat pumps
Okay.
upstairs.
Yeah.
So if
But
it's,
not
if
quite
it's,
knowing what
Okay.
all is involved, yeah.
okay, so if it's guidance, then that doesn't, I thought he was giving us a direct quote of this is how much it's going to cost, this is the system we're gonna put upstairs with heat pumps.
No,
Yeah.
this is the boiler.
Then,
Yep.
then I'm fine with us going forward so we can get this process started.
So I think we need a motion for this.
I'll make a motion that we hire the engineer for, it was $4,000 to create a design for our propane replacement of our oil boiler.
Second thought.
Okay. Discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Before you run off.
You're not off the hook
When you
yet.
talk with an engineer, you got problems. Somehow we need to regulate, control contractors that come in and out. So in other words, we need some sort of that's my opinion, some sort of a project manager that can oversee this So we know who's in, who's out, what they're doing, where they're going, that type of thing as this project moves forward. Because it's way too much for Sandy to do.
Well, they'll probably arrange a walkthrough with
Okay.
contractors. They'll be
Yeah.
invited on a certain day, they all have to be there at that time. The engineer would take them through, explain the project to them.
Right.
Give them the ins and outs of all the things
Yeah.
and send them on their way. So they would be supervised, they don't just come in and look around.
No, but I mean, even after the work starts,
Right.
people are in and out the door, down cellar, upstairs, you know, I'm just a little concerned
They
about.
would sit down and arrange that with the, you know, with the engineers and contractors on how you want them to behave, where they're gonna put their equipment, what.
I think-
I mean, like the weatherization project, Ken was here in and out during, when they did the whole insulation stuff, you checked in and out on the contractor, and then afterwards, he went through with the contractor with a checklist to make sure everything that was, supposed to be done was done. He found a couple things that weren't done, they came back and finished it up. We need that
Engineer will
same
do
sort
that.
of, okay, same sort of,
Okay.
so whoever
Point
we
person.
hire to do the boiler replacement, the price would include, a project manager type.
Supervision of the work.
Yeah.
And coordination.
That's my only, just want to make sure that,
And of course, we'll be around.
So are you volunteering, Mark?
no.
Okay. Is
I
there
can't
any,
keep-
Wasn't even a
I
hesitation.
can't keep up with what I got going now.
anything else we need to discuss on this? No? I think we're all set then.
All right.
Thank
Do
you.
we need
Thank
to
you.
vote on the motion?
What's that?
We had a second, but we need to vote on the motion.
Oh,
We voted.
I thought we voted.
We did vote? Okay, sorry,
Pretty sure.
sorry.
Yes.
Never mind.
Aye.
You said aye.
I
Okay,
asked all those
We're
in
good.
favor, all those opposed.
cool. Okay,
So,
I'll shut it.
Too much discussion.
Yes,
yes, there was a lot of discussion. Thank you very much.
like you took just long enough to go down tonight. Hey, just long enough.
One other thing,
Ralph?
Ralph,
hey, we need a estimate for the tank also, for a contractor to set the
Yeah.
tank. Along with,
Well, Procter Gas would set the tank, I would assume.
was that
They want us to
discussed?
dig the hole.
They want us to dig the hole.
Yeah.
Is there a slab involved in this, Jay?
Probably not.
That's underground.
Okay.
Sand.
So it doesn't come
yeah.
out.
But we'll need the specs for that and probably
And we know who's gonna do it.
contractor to
Who
Well,
better?
dig it and set it.
You've got two proposals, right? They would bring the tank out and set it, I would assume.
We just have to dig the hole and put the stone in or sand,
Sand.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
You've done this 100 times or more, right? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Just
Yes.
cover that, just
No.
making sure that,
No? We took time to discuss this. We want to make sure we got it done.
right.
Okay. Okay. We are on to the Rotary coin drop request.
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew Elwood. I am the current president of the Wallingford Rotary Club, and I'm here to ask you guys for permission to hold a coin drop on the last Saturday in July, right in front of the Rotary, or actually it might be a little way past. We've had the maps that have been given to us as to where to place the signs. We'd be consistent with what was done in years past. It's probably a 4 or 5 hour event from, say, 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. It serves as one of the larger fundraisers for the club. It helps us defray the costs for everything from the upcoming fishing derby and Wallingford Day to
Scholarship?
Our safety
to
stuff.
bike safety, which is this Saturday. So, we anticipate that we would have to go to the Department of Transportation for approval, but they don't want to talk to us until we've talked to you guys. And we do have insurance, and we'll be fully insured. Signs would be placed, we would do the setup and the tear down. We would count all the coins in the Rotary building itself, and be out on the yellow line wearing newly purchased protective vests, or reflective vests, I should say.
High visibility.
Yeah, absolutely, high visibility. And in the event of inclement weather, we would like to consider the following Saturday, which would be the first one in August, as a rain date.
Twenty-seventh of July.
And
And the 3rd of August. Yeah.
August 3rd?
Yes.
I move, we authorize that.
Okay. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Make up time.
No.
No, precedent says that we
Yeah.
do this every year and keep on keeping
So,
on.
all
There hasn't been
those-
any incidents, so.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Moving on to Communication Group Newsletter Reserve Fund. Barb, you're up.
So I assume you all know about the newsletter.
Yes.
So the newsletter is part of the communication group that was founded 5 or 6 years ago. The one thing about our group is we don't get any money from the town. We've raised it all along. And our biggest fundraiser is the auction that we have that ends on Wallingford Days. And we made $2,800 last year. Basically, it cost approximately $400 every month to put it out. Some of the people, I'm just gonna give you some history in case you don't know. Kathy Upton, Barb Kaminsky, Carol McLeod, Deb Scranton, Elaine Warzicki, Lois Johnstone, and I are on this group. And it was really important to us to get the information out to everybody in town. A lot of people have computers, but a lot of older people don't have computers, and they don't know what's going on. So we made a point, that was our goal, we wanted to get this and pay for it. It cost over $300 just for postage. That's the biggest cost. Paper and using the copier here. So it comes about $400 a month. So we raised money from the auction, that's the big thing. A few years ago, Julie Sharon went to the select board requesting that the ads that are in this, instead of going into the general fund, I believe, went into the newsletter fund.
Of course.
So you approved that. So that's a big help. This year, maybe it was a big year, that was $2,000. And then we have people in town who donate money. So I'm here to request that this money stay in this fund, that if there's any money left at the end of the year, it doesn't go into the general fund. And I don't know if it has to be a reserve fund or if we've come up with, Wallingford Day, I came for this to talk and we asked that request and it sounded like, is that the best idea that VOTC has come up with, to have a
We have
reserve?
to establish a reserve fund.
Okay, there's no other little ways around it. So that's what I'm asking, that the money stay in a fund, and I know it's gonna have to be warned and voted on.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I think,
Well-
you're separate from the town. You're not, this,
But it's.
But
it's in
we're
our
managing
budget,
the money.
Yes.
We manage the
We
money
manage
that's
the
coming
money.
in.
So it has to be,
because,
Put out like
because
that.
Julie takes the money,
Right.
but
Yes.
it's in our,
it's ours.
it's our bank.
As soon as it goes through her fingers.
And that was the whole thing we had with Wallingford,
Yep.
Wallingford Day,
So
was to make
so
sure
we have to
that.
go through the whole process.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then we have to have a newspaper line item in the budget?
Well, there is a communication group line item, isn't there?
Well, there was, and then like a year and a half ago, we were told that, I think it was VOTC said, you can't just roll the money over
Exactly.
anymore.
Right, we need to have a reserve fund.
Yes.
How much is potentially getting rolled over each year?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but you know, when my friends tell me they're gonna write a check and I'll go, do not write it until after July 1st.
Right.
Because when you make a check out for a certain
Right.
situation, you want the money to go there. You know, you
Yes.
don't want it, go into the general fund. You want it to go for the cause that you're writing the check for.
Yes.
So that's all we want to make sure of. That I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
So there are line items. One, 5160 in town government operations is the expense line item. And then there is in the 4553 in the revenue. So we do have revenue and expense line items, and they're the same, because we're assuming everything we take in gets spent on that. You're right, if there's anything left over, it goes into the general fund at the end of the year, unless you establish the
That's
reserve
a
account.
good
Right. So it sounds like we would still need to establish a reserve fund.
Yes.
But,
The only way
but
we
then we fund it, you put money into it too. I mean, if it's a line item, it's our budget. And so we could put $100 in there to start the year. And, but I think all the money's gonna go there anyways, whether it's held over or not. You know what I'm saying? The money that comes in for the paper is always gonna go for the paper. That's what you really want, right?
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Any donations,
Yeah.
any money we raise.
And that's easy enough.
So it's something would have to go to vote.
Yeah, I mean, you would just, in December, when we're talking about the warning and the budgets and all that.
Put that
you
out
would-
there then.
That's another
To
article.
get ready for.
Yes.
Thursday morning and.
Okay.
Do we know, like, because we've had just trying to think of, like, again, like hedging things off of the past, like, we have the communications group that we get donations to that. We already have Wallingford Day, so that's all set. Are there any other groups where they receive donations and like monetary donations that then go into the general fund?
Well, sometimes people donate to rec.
Yes.
Okay.
Like in obituaries.
Just
Yep.
wondering if we think about it in a, like, cause I worry that we're just gonna have 30,000 reserve funds that we're gonna have to keep track of.
Right.
Or do we try to think of a way of like, let's figure out, are there ones that are going to be going forward, they're going to be there, and why don't we establish them all at once? Through the different line, because each one would have to have its own question.
Yep.
So wondering, just thinking about it that way, like, do we want to think about, okay, we're doing everybody's reserve, like getting reserve funds for all these different programs that we're.
I think rec would be only, because people do give donations for scholarships and things like that. for
Right.
camps, so.
Right.
I mean, those probably get used
Almost immediately.
immediately.
Yeah. Again, that's
there, but,
Yes.
but it may not.
but
You never
like if
know.
we're talking $3 going over next year, like that's
To
not worth it to do
500.
this. But like
never
500,
know.
that's a
Yes.
good chunk of change.
And
That
just because you could have very good fundraising one year, the next year you may need that carryover.
right. Or
Because you may not always get a $2,000 rock auction.
right.
Right, right.
Right.
So that's a good idea to be a little, since we have time,
Yeah, we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
put it all on one or
Right.
separate ones, but at least all in the same.
I can mention it to Julie and just say, over the next many months, we'll be thinking about which accounts might benefit from a reserve account beyond communication.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you earmark it,
Yeah.
truck fund or be more specific about it, might be a way to go. I like the equipment sinking fund idea,
Yeah.
but,
Okay.
yeah.
And we've talked about that in the past too, just
Yep.
of that
Oh, yeah,
being
you missed
something.
that.
I did miss
We
that.
are,
Okay.
it's on the, on the books to talk about when it comes time.
Okay.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
on TV. You can watch it on TV.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So just thinking in that context,
Yeah.
why don't we tackle that all at once versus piecemealing it out? And then we can, again, like the idea with like policies of everybody's the same that we're going through, and
Yes.
That's capital budgeting too. There's just, I don't know if it's still set up that, but you can have a capital budget committee and set up a thing for high durable products or things that cost a lot of money and
Right.
manage that.
Yeah.
We tried to do it once, didn't go over.
Be like, well, when you do a capital campaign when you do a capital campaign
Exactly.
for an organization, so that like you want to build up this new building or you want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like this will be something that we're gonna,
Great, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we are on to, we have some additions to our, but we have a deletion. The Vermont Community Tree Planting Grant, we're deleting.
Okay.
And we
Tree can't-
added,
Yeah.
to talk about, let's see what I wrote so quickly, if I can read my writing.
Employment applications and the Elfin Lake use request.
A couple of employment applications, and then, we were discussing, what was that other thing?
Fairhaven.
The Fairhaven
Using the lake.
Elfin Lake use request,
Okay.
okay?
What is it?
Fairhaven Elfin Lake use request is
Oh.
where we're at right now. So why don't we talk about the concession applications first?
I'm going to abstain from this discussion.
I wonder why.
Okay. Okay, so we have two applications here. One is from Gabrielle Forrest, and the other is from Torrance Benren. Okay,
So Tori wants to be a substitute,
okay.
a fill-in.
Okay.
So, which works perfectly because if you decide to hire at Gabriella, then that would be four.
Will that be the fourth?
Fourth
Yeah.
concession person hired, and then we have a substitute, which we always need because of conflicting vacations and whatever, so it would be a good fit.
And it looks like, let's see. Let me put on these.
Jill,
So it
Jill-
looks like
Jill
they
knows
both-
Gabriella and gave her,
Okay.
discussed it with her today, and she thinks she'd be a great fit.
Okay. Yeah, I know
Oh, you do too.
Gabrielle
Good,
too, and
good.
yeah, I think I also believe that. And they both seem to meet the age, they're 16 if not 17.
I'll make a motion, we hire them both.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, not hearing any discussion. All those in favor of hiring both for concession this summer?
Hi.
Aye.
Perfect.
Sounds like.
And Carolyn, are you abstaining for both?
I'll vote yes for
Gabrielle.
Gabrielle.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Then we have one abstain.
Right, okay.
Half of them.
Half of it abstain. Okay. So now we're moving on to the Fairhaven Elfin Lake request. Do we have anything written on this?
No, she actually just called me this afternoon. I sent you an email, probably didn't
I
get it
haven't
because there
seen
was a
it,
rush.
sorry.
That's okay, so she called this afternoon and, she wants June 10th, which is about 5 days before the lake opens. And.
This would be Fairhaven Grade School?
Yes, and there would be, let me see.
And who's attending?
So there would be about 85 people. There would be teachers and adults as chaperones. They would provide their own lifeguards. It's June 10th. We do usually assess group rates, $2 an adult, $1 per child under 17.
And do we have numbers for adults and children yet?
No, she didn't give me
Okay.
those.
Okay.
But what I would suggest is maybe if you decide to go ahead with this,
Yes.
maybe we ask for a deposit separately. They write a separate check for deposits, admissions, because before then, we're gonna have people over there cleaning up the place.
Right.
And we don't wanna hire somebody the day after and clean
Just
it
to clean
again.
Right.
Maybe, you know, just little
Yes.
things like they need to take away their own garbage, clean up the place after, maybe you know, that doesn't have to be meticulous, but
And have them put down a cleaning deposit.
yeah, just like $100 deposit, and then we'll give it back to them if we show up and the place is clean the next
Okay.
day. If not, we will need to hire somebody, probably one of the concession kids.
And this is before it opens, so we're not interfering with any
Right.
other people's use of it.
Right, yeah. Oh, no, yeah, so the place won't even be open until,
And also, you
So-
don't want them to lock it and have other requests and then them say never mind.
Right.
But what about for keys? Like, how would we manage that for the lock for the
they
key?
would have to pick up a key the
They'd
morning
have to
of.
pick up a key.
Okay.
I mean, I was,
And they'd have to do it down at town hall,
what's that?
right? They have to do it at town hall. Pick
Yeah,
up the
they'd
key
have to
from
come
town
here
hall.
and pick it up, and then,
And how many days?
this is only 4, I mean, you know, you don't have to say yes, you can say
How
no.
many days?
So it's Monday and the lake opens Saturday.
What,
So it's just,
So we have a couple that come in every early June that clean the entire place up. So it would all be clean before this group arrives.
Okay.
But we want to make sure it's clean
Yeah.
But that's clean
afterwards.
after.
Yeah.
So it's just opening it for that one day. in
And I
out,
thought like maybe we open just
Or-
one of the bathrooms, but maybe that's not a good idea with that number of people, but because the bathroom
based
that
on
they
our
go
septic.
The
through,
men's room is.
you know, has all of our other stuff in there, you know,
anybody
the
ever?
toys, the life jackets, all that's in that other, if you unlock that door to access that, the men's bathroom, they have access to all that. You know, we will have stocked the refrigerators and stuff by then,
Right.
so,
Would
One
anybody
bathroom
ever-
should be.
I would think one
For
bathroom would be
85?
sufficient.
you know, that's what I was wondering. If we just unlock the women's bathroom, then that,
And just, it's unisex that day.
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Is this gonna be like an
What age
annual
group?
thing? Are we inviting
Grade
more
school.
towns
Which
to,
grade? Is it the?
We've
I
had people
think
in the
it's the
past
whole
come over
grade.
all the time, yeah, oh, yeah. Big
usually
groups.
it's just Wallingford though. In the past, it's usually
Well,
just
haven't we
been
had
Wallingford
Clarendon
only.
or somebody come down? We've had other groups, I remember,
But
come in
not-
and use it.
Not pre-season.
Right.
Well, that's,
Usually, I think Danby once, maybe
Danby, I
Timoth
think,
once.
did.
Yeah,
Damn Timoth once.
Yeah, but it's usually just Wallingford Elementary, and they haven't even asked in the last couple of
Right.
years, so.
I wonder also just because it's one, it's off season, and two, there's no revenue that we're getting for that day. Do we do the discount then? Because it's really more of a
You
private
don't have
event.
to. You don't
Yeah.
have to.
Because, but I also like it's either do that or they part of their deposit or part of their fee is that we can get see if we can get one of our concession people to come in that day
Except
to
for it's a
open it
school
up.
day.
Oh.
So unless it's
Okay.
unless it's a
There's that
concession
idea.
worker
Yeah.
who's
What are you
a
doing?
college student, I don't know if
Something.
we have any concession workers who are
No,
college students.
They're all juniors,
Yeah.
They're all juniors, okay.
except for Charlie.
So I'm wondering if maybe we can make a reach out to that one person.
Because then just a convenience for them, they wouldn't have to worry as much about cleaning because Charlie could help, or whoever gets it could help clean, maintain it. We could maybe get some concession sales. And then they're gonna lock up and they know what to lock up. We don't have to have some kind of crazy checklist that the people have to do.
So what do we think of that?
Excuse me, I think I left my phone here.
Sure.
Oh, yes, you did.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
And so,
You remember-
Sandy, is the 85 people coming, is that the whole school?
I don't know. She didn't, I didn't.
Because we had a question about the age range.
Okay.
What,
I mean, so that would be about what Fairhaven grade school would be.
I would
This is
think,
about
I would
six.
think it's the entire school.
If not.
This is sort of a
It's
year-end
about equivalent sizes
celebration
to our
for the
school
kids. You
Probably, yeah.
graduated.
Yes, yeah.
352 students.
Oh, so it is like
Union High School.
It is,
Fairhaven Union High School?
Yes.
Because this would be the grade school.
Oh, the grades.
right, but that, so, that sounds a lot, honestly, for the grade school. Cause you gotta think the 352 and then you still have
346.
4 other elementary schools that feed into the high school.
346 in the grade school?
Yeah,
So this is like just particular grades?
or just staff. And their families.
That sounds too high.
I'm thinking it's students and adults. So I'm thinking it's some sort of, not the entire school, but some portion of it.
Per elementary school or all of the elementary schools together?
Wait, I think Fairhaven
It just says
grade
Fairhaven
school
grades.
is pre-K to 8.
It stopped.
Yes.
It is not anymore.
Oh.
There's a middle school now at the high school that they started
Okay,
a
it is.
year
So the grade school
ago.
then
Might
goes
be
to,
That's
out of-
old. If you're,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, then I have no idea.
okay? Okay. So, what do we think of this request?
I guess the question is, do we, I don't think we need to do a discount because they're coming, this is a special thing that we're doing some things to make sure that they can come in before our season starts. I don't think.
And
we
then
need a
should
discount.
we see if we can get a concession worker for the day? If we
It
approve this?
would make it a lot easier.
Okay.
It would make it a lot easier for them and for us. It would make it a little, and then also, but they would have to absorb that cost because we don't have it budgeted right now for that person to be there.
If they're paying
Well, it
full
would come,
price,
they're paying full price.
if
It would
they're
come
paying
out.
full price, will
Okay.
that cover the cost?
Well, that's what I'm,
I would think so,
I would, yeah.
because there's only
For the
one
day.
concession worker. It's not like
I think we should put.
getting
have them
lifeguards or
down,
anything.
Maybe pay full price, but still have them put the deposit down, that's a good.
Yes.
incentive
yes, I
for
think
them.
still the deposit
So
is.
pay full
And
price.
then we just wait and see what it looks like, and
Yes.
I'll find one of the concession workers to clean if we need to be, like
Okay.
Thursday or Friday that week.
Okay.
But hopefully not. with-
Hopefully not, because we'll have the cleaning deposit down. So do we need a motion on this?
I would.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve, the Fairhaven School for using, Elfin Lake before our season starts under the agreement that they would be paying full price per capacity for whoever's coming and giving us numbers beforehand so we know, and then
And-
also that they would have a $100 cleaning deposit, and then also that, contingent on that we can get somebody to work concessions. If they don't, what do we want to do? If we can't get Charlie to come or somebody else to
I mean,
come?
yeah.
It's just the same.
I would limit it to one bathroom then.
Yeah.
Yeah, just open
That
one
if we
bathroom
can't get a
and,
concession worker, we're gonna limit it to one bathroom instead of 2. If we have a concession worker,
Okay.
it'll be 2. If we don't, it's the 1. And that way, what we want locked up stays locked up and
You
untouched.
think if you go to most other you have, like if you go to a baseball game, you have one porta potty.
So do
It's
we
not
have a,
that many people, but.
do we have a second on the motion?
Well, let me clarify my motion
Sure.
because with all that other stuff. Okay, so we are moving to. I move to make an agreement with Fairhaven School so that they can use our Elfin Lake facilities before our season starts at the full rate, and then that is contingent on them paying a $100 cleaning deposit, and we will make a good effort to have a concession worker there so that they can open up and close up, and then also be able to operate the concession stands while if we cannot get that person, then they will have to pick up the key at town hall, and we can only open up one of the bathrooms.
Do you have a second?
Okay, whatever that
Make sure I got it all
word
in,
vomit
yeah.
was.
So any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, there you go. Moving on. We are at the Constable at the Ballfield. Okay. So there have been complaints from residents. There's a list. And then looking at this list, pet owners not cleaning up after pets. I actually found dog poop on my yard the other day trying to clean it up. Just saying. So the request is, do we want to allow the constable from time to time to stop by the Ballfield and remind visitors of the rules? And we have the state statute down here of what they're allowed to do.
So my thought behind this was, it's not the kids that are there are violating town ordinances, they're not violating the law per se.
Okay.
So it doesn't really fall into the sheriff's group, other than you having somebody sit there, but do we wanna pay $50 whatever an hour for them to sit down there and kinda, play babysitter? Or can we, because it's not a criminal, can we send a constable down who can do civil ordinances,
Does he get paid?
has a stipend?
Yeah, that's it.
But we'd have to pay him every time, right? So we are asking him to do something within the scope. Right. Is
I
my
mean,
concern.
How often do we use them now? I don't know.
I mean, he comes to town meeting
Right,
and he's gonna help with the parade, Memorial Day parade.
Right,
that's
he's
it.
helping with the parade as well.
yeah.
He's aware of the problems that occurred down
I
there?
haven't brought it up to him yet because I don't want to
Well, let's wait
address
and see.
something until we discussed it
Well,
here.
he probably should have been alerted right off the bat.
But if he doesn't
Well,
have
I-
any, he has no jurisdiction or
He has
he
no
cannot do
jurisdiction,
anything.
he can't do anything.
I asked
He
Kathy
can,
whether we should invite him.
he can enforce the town ordinances, but he cannot enforce the law.
Right.
So, and everything that's getting violated down there
Or
is the town ordinances.
Right.
So that he has authority over, but
But do the sheriff as well do ordinances?
not really,
Normally.
Huh?
not really.
No.
We got the sheriff involved at this latest thing with the verbal
Yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So that's, if something like
Right.
that were to arise, we would
But they're not
contact the
gonna come
sheriff.
down if somebody's cursing,
Right.
unless it's making a,
Right, and it's not sit there, I mean, my idea was pass through. I drive down Waldo Lane every time, most of the time, when I go home.
Yeah.
Only because that way I can see
What's going on?
what's going on down through, and if there's a big crowd or somebody's over at
Yeah,
the other,
Stone
you
Meadow.
can see what's going on, I can,
Yeah.
just drive in and sit for a couple minutes.
Right.
I mean, we're not like, get out and confront them, I'm just, if somebody sits in the yard and somebody does break one of the ordinances, then you confront them, say, hey,
You're a jerk.
So if we have the constable come by, how often do we want to say the constable's gonna come by, and do we have like a
I
time
think-
frame?
I think we just need to alert him that there's a concern in town with, stuff there, and let him do what he wants. Cause he
Currently,
has
he
the
doesn't go
authority.
out and do anything
You know-
unless directed. So it's
He
not
doesn't
like
do
he
anything
controls or
right.
anything.
He needs to know that there's some issues there.
What can he do if he sees anything?
Right.
Because if we ask him to go there, besides him saying, hey, what you doing? What's the next?
serve,
he can ask them to leave.
Right. I'm just wanting, we just
And
make sure
say,
clear
you're
because.
not following town ordinances, I'm gonna ask you to leave if you don't
Right.
desist from
Also-
what you're doing.
well, that gets it then, escalates it to a trespass if somebody's told them, then.
Well, if you ask them to leave,
And they
and they don't
refuse.
leave, the next call is the sheriff's,
Right,
and it becomes a trespass issue.
but he can, but it, like the serve civil or criminal processes, that means that he can then deliver fines for ordinance violations then?
Because we came into a question about that before with another issue.
Okay.
And it pretty much came down, there was a question about it.
Well, that was the dog warden, wasn't it?
Right, but then I thought we brought in, there was one with the constable too.
What I had in mind, and these are all good questions, what I had in mind was just keeping it very, very simple. Like, if I go down there and I happen to see somebody biking on the tennis court, I go over and say to them, you're not allowed to bike on the tennis court, see it's there on the sign. But I don't engage in anything after that.
Yeah, and it's just because if
Is
you're
that what you're
directing
thinking
him
with
to
the
go there
constable to-
basically specifically.
To notify the
It's a little
ordinance
different
and then
than you just
basically
driving
that's
by.
it?
Yes. Yes.
That's my concern, is we are directing him specifically to patrol it.
Also, there's
That's
security
what we're asking,
cameras
yes.
there. There's security cameras there. Is there a sign that says you're being watched?
Yes,
Yes.
There is?
yeah.
And they still,
I mean, it's one thing if he is down there of his own accord,
Right.
and we could ask him to please help enforce these things as per your, and let us know. But the moment we say, can you patrol these hours, we're kind of switching what his,
Gotcha.
that's just what
Well,
I'm
well, my question was how do we make it work? Do we just leave it to his discretion and he
That's it.
shows
So-
up
So
and?
if we let him know there's issues, and he's down there,
That's what I was
but
thinking.
not asking.
Right.
So just say, hey, this is going on and just leave it at that.
Would
Like
you
that.
be aware of this?
Yeah.
And then leave it to his discretion of,
But do we want him to think he can bill us for
No.
going down there?
No.
That's
Making
where,
that clear.
because he
I
already
want
gets a
clear.
that's where, he already gets a
like,
stipend.
right, I
So
just
it's
wanna make
not
it clear, this is nothing above and beyond what you already do.
Yes. So then he can decide what he's gonna do or what he's not
Sure.
gonna do because of that.
he would want information about if somebody had a break-in or
Right.
anything.
He can't do
Law
anything with
enforcement.
that.
No.
Right,
You know,
he
he
can't do
should-
anything with any
There's
of
nothing he
that.
can do.
But he should know, he should be informed.
I think that's not what we're
Unfortunately,
talking about here.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, because it's no longer anybody with any training and
Right.
the different levels of being a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
So it's not like back, in the 80s.
This is more like, there's people breaking town ordinances, he's just gonna go down there and say, stop doing that, you're breaking the town
I mean,
ordinance.
if he drives
And that's
by, he
pretty much
pulls
it.
in, he's got
That's
the
all I
authority
had
to
in
say-
mind, it's just
Yeah.
a reminder of an ordinance, that's all, with no set times or anything else. Just if you're driving through town and you go down that street,
Be kind of clear on
And
what he's
we'll just
allowed to
provide
do
him-
as escalation. I think that's I don't want
Yeah.
him anything escalate.
The other,
So then he would have to be reminded of that,
Yes.
that it has to be within his purview, and that this does not give him any extra
Correct.
authority.
right.
This is just us asking,
Hey, help keep
town
an eye.
ordinances are being broken,
Help keep an eye, please.
Yeah.
can you keep an eye from time to time on your timetable,
Yeah.
at your discretion?
I just,
Yeah.
It says, his duties are civil or criminal process. Marty Wasserman we had no constable. And Marty Wasserman and we had kids hanging out in front of the block throwing eggs, doing all kinds of awful things. And he got on there, and the first thing he did was he went and got the guy that was acting up the most and arrested him and had him convicted. And that was the end of it.
but that's different.
That's
They can't
no
arrest,
longer-
they can't do
No
anything.
longer.
That's no longer, no.
That's too bad. I mean, call up his mother, what are you gonna do?
Well, that's a kind of like, yeah, what
Yeah.
can he do? And we just,
Well,
we don't
You know,
know what his
A big,
skill level is.
a
in
big
this.
brother just saying, hey,
yeah.
you're not supposed to do that. If you do it again, you're gonna ask not to come back. Next time it'll be sheriff's department.
Yeah,
Escorting
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Which we
And-
have in the
and,
past.
Right, yeah. I mean, the other thing you can do is ask the sheriff's department to do his paperwork down there.
That's actually what I was thinking that too, is like if he's instead of parking down there, park down at the park.
Yeah, just park down the parking, in the parking ride
Yep,
to do his paperwork.
yeah.
Got a bill to see the place,
Yeah.
so why
Right.
do the fire
Yes.
station?
he's also could just remind people that the place is surveillance, so like,
Yes.
Yeah,
we can always pull up the tapes if you're.
good job, smile.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Hopefully word gets out that we do pull those tapes and consequences do occur.
Yeah.
That's the thing, it's like they need to know there actually is a consequence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the other, like if he's doing this stuff and they realize, you got nothing, buddy. I'm gonna act up towards you and do
But I think really, Carolyn, you brought up the really important thing is that any time it's starting to escalate, he needs to remove himself or
Yes.
say, I am going to then refer you to
Exactly.
the sheriffs or
Yeah.
the state
Yes.
troopers, because I think
This
if
matter's
they,
gonna
if they
be
don't have
referred
any,
to the
if they don't have
sheriff's
any
office,
training for
yes.
de-escalation, they don't have any authority to really do anything past give an ordinance fine.
Right, he can back right away and say, this is now just what order of conduct, and,
Yeah,
you know.
I've noted it as a, basically as like, almost like a
And he
mandated
can walk away,
reporter.
get in
and
his
then-
car with his phone in his ear and
yeah.
Right.
call the authorities.
So as long as he knows that that is the extent of what
Yeah.
he needs
If
to
it
do.
was certified like Nelson was, that's a whole different thing.
Not, so
But it's
Yeah.
not.
And,
that went away in all towns.
Okay.
right, and the constable themselves in name cannot do that anymore.
Right.
The
Right.
constable,
No.
whether they have the training or not, the constable can't do that.
Exactly.
They have to be a special officer appointed by
Yes.
the town.
Yep,
Whether they have the training.
Whether they have
Right.
the training or not, the
Right.
constable by name cannot
boy.
do that.
You can only do
It's
those
sure
things.
different than I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep, things have changed.
Things have changed.
Okay.
It's not like he hasn't marked anything, so it's not like him being walking down the.
I think the cameras down there are a good idea.
Okay.
I do.
Right. So if we're ready, let's move on to second portable restroom at Ballfield. We've got a resident, Jen Galusha Brothers. She's requested a second portable toilet be placed at the Ballfield. The town had a second unit near the south field. It was vandalized several times and then completely destroyed. Jen also complained the condition of the one near the tennis court. Looks like Sandy's contacted Hubbard's. They said it was emptied last Thursday.
They had serviced it and people have been filling it up with garbage, which cannot be
Cannot be pumped out.
pumped out. So that, I put a sign down there that not to throw garbage in there.
Okay, you
Well-
talked to Art about placing a garbage can near it.
Yeah, and he didn't like the idea. He said because he's been inundated with people bringing their bags of trash from home and throwing it in, and now if we have two receptacles, that's twice as much.
But that's
So I've also
cheaper
gotten-
than pumping.
I've also gotten a sign for the one receptacle, not to throw your household trash in that either.
I mean, can we invest in a trash can that has a smaller, like just a smaller input, so you can't put a whole bag of trash in?
Like at the gas stations, you.
Yeah, just like a little
Yeah.
little tiny circle that's really just big enough for a McDonald's bag.
Yeah. Not a silver.
Yeah, not a big old like industrial trash can that you put in a warehouse.
And I know I went to use that bathroom, the one when we had the Stone Meadow race, and it was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
There was no toilet paper. It was in terrible condition.
And do the cameras point towards that at all?
Yeah, do we have camera?
I'll have to
the cameras
see,
point to it?
I'll go back and look at it, because when we had the other complaint,
Right.
some of the pictures were over, you could see, I think it does, because the same alleged person who is doing the verbal harassment was also climbing the fence on the tennis court, so, and I saw that picture as well.
Okay.
So I think the toilet is in there, in the surveillance. I did write the sign that's on the toilet right now, it says the area is under surveillance.
Right, right.
And I'm pretty sure it is. So we would be able to see if somebody's walking in with a garbage.
You're
The only
right.
thing is how many hours of footage do you have to watch?
Yeah, no, that's the.
That too.
My concern about putting another one down, we have the same problem we have with one, but now we're gonna have it with two.
I mean, the other one, if you remember, it was knocked over several times, and somebody
Yeah.
finally smashed it into the fence, damaged the fence, and completely destroyed the restroom. So being a separate location is challenging. Shannon did send me an email today, because she'd seen this was on the agenda. She said, I like the idea, but just a reminder, it's not budgeted for. And I said, well, I put that in the board's memo, that we don't have a budget for it.
Yeah.
So we don't have a budget for a second toilet. I don't know what people think about putting a second toilet there, maybe right next to the first one. If we ever decided to go that route, not have it in a separate
Well, I
location.
could see
but
bringing
have
them in
the two
for
together.
special events,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, Wallingford Days and.
And they do.
When I
Yeah.
see 'em
Yeah, and
playing
they
ball-
do. I think.
There's lots of people down there just to the ball games. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it would seem to me, just going by and look, one was not enough. You know,
The other thing we need to do is, any special events down there the day before.
Yeah,
Clean them,
yeah.
make sure they're restocked. I don't know if we probably don't do that now, right?
Well, like Wallingford Day, they bring in extra portable toilets.
Right,
for
but the
that.
one that's there,
Now, we don't have anything for, now we do have a cross-country event that will be taking place. That we approved,
Yeah.
the Stone Meadow, cross-country event, race where other people are coming in.
so we can bring one in for that. But I'm just saying,
Which I think, yeah, that was one of the things we mentioned after the last one, we need
Right.
Yeah.
more.
Yep.
but just to, even during the ball game, when they have practice, Little League practice and stuff like that, we know they're on Tuesday nights, clean them on a Monday.
Well, he services them every Thursday, that's why he's got the rotation.
Well, if they're dirty, then, that's where I was going, is if they're dirty when somebody is down there on a Monday or Tuesday, if there's gonna be a special event, clean them the day before.
But who is?
Yeah.
Right.
In other words, instead of coming in once a week, okay, because apparently they're not staying clean up to the following week.
Right.
If we're gonna have a special event on the weekend, come in on a Friday and clean them.
But I think the
Right.
tough thing is
Pump them, clean them, and ready
So
to
it's
go.
it's $115 a month,
Yeah.
and that's a once a week.
That's the
service.
once a week cleaning.
So,
Yeah, so it would be more to go more than once.
right.
Yes.
and I think that it seems like if they're coming every Thursday, they have a set schedule where they're going each time. So they're
No.
probably
Right, but like I said, people are complaining because they're dirty when they go there.
agreed. Yeah.
Which you can't stop.
Right.
But if you go in there prior to a big event,
But
they get a little extra money to have them clean prior to that big event.
Yeah.
Because if the event's on a Friday, you're great. If the event's on a Saturday,
you're okay.
maybe okay. Event's on a Sunday, you're done.
No, for sure.
Stupid question, how clean are they after they're cleaned?
Yes. Do we know how clean they are after they're cleaned?
Like, what does clean look like? 'Cause, like,
Yes, that's a good question. I was actually wondering the same thing of,
so if they do it Thursdays, maybe we need to walk down
You want
on
a
it.
picture on
maybe we
Friday?
need to take
Yeah.
a walk
Another one
down
on
and see the
Saturday?
First
conditions
picture of
it's
the porta
in.
potty I have in my phone.
Honestly,
The other one was pristine, it was heated and everything.
if we're paying for once a week cleaning all year round, that porta potty that I went into before anyone else arrived for the event,
It was gnarly.
And that was a Saturday morning
and that was a Saturday morning.
in the fall.
It looked like it hadn't been touched in months.
And that's what I
That's
hear
it, that's-
repeatedly.
That means a
Well,
lot.
that's where I was going. It's,
Yeah. Maybe we also need to, what other companies out there and what their prices are.
well, Hubbard's was the most inexpensive.
Right.
There might be a reason.
Do you remember we started calling around last time, I got some names from folks, most of them they want to do special events.
Oh, that's
They don't
right.
do
Yeah, we
this
did look at
weekly.
that. Yeah.
They don't do like what Hubbard's does, they want to do just special events.
Okay. Anything further on the second portable toilet?
I think we talk about we establish if it's actually clean to start with,
Yes.
and then
And then go from there.
yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Town Hall copier purchase. So Jill has visited several municipal offices to explore copier options. There's 2 proposals for color copiers. An additional proposal for a Canon black and white copier. Her recommendation is going with the Canon, either color or black and white.
Yeah, she prefers the color, so does Julie.
The town received a $5,000 weatherization rebate, and the board agreed to put those funds towards the purchase of a copier.
And Julie, I asked Julie if she had any recommendations for the balance, and she said she would try to get it out of the town hall expenses budget line item. If that's not quite enough, she suggested ARPA, but she's going to try to keep the town hall expenses under budget so that we could fit this in.
Okay.
We did put this, didn't we put this in the budget for next year?
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, if you can just check and see, because that would take care of it.
I don't think so, because I asked her
Okay.
about
We
it.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's when she
Yeah,
brought
we
up the
need it.
proposal.
Well, we raised town hall operating expenses a little bit, but that wouldn't have been enough.
That's
to
not enough to cover.
Pay for the copier, so.
Oh, we put like a
Well, we
separate
don't
line
put
on
this
it or
in.
something. We talked about it.
No.
Okay.
But she thinks it could come out of town hall operating expenses, that line item. and-
Okay.
At least it wasn't dreaming. That's at least it wasn't dreaming.
No, no, I'm with you.
Are we only charging a nickel for a copy?
No, that's what.
That's
Or
what
is that
they
just,
charge
that's just
us.
the average
That's what we
cost?
have to pay. That's the,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what they charge us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it has a maintenance agreement, right? Or something.
Yes.
They usually have a maintenance agreement, ink and
Yeah,
toners included type thing on it.
for-
Julie has
for-
like a whole page of, charges over there from a basic copy to if they
Okay.
get a list
I got confused by that. I hadn't realized it was the maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Charges.
counter in there, so when maintenance comes, they normally will come once every so often and check everything the toners.
Right.
And if you've gone over, you get charged extra.
Right.
That's for
right.
rental, but if we're gonna buy it
But even
outright.
then, because if it's outside the service maintenance, they
Oh, right,
normally,
yeah.
they pay you because you are using more than what's expected for their service package.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't feel like something for ARPA. It feels like that's
Yeah.
just because it doesn't, yeah.
You know,
If
make
we're
it-
thinking about it still, and even though it's not ARPA really anymore, it's still thinking about those projects are one-time things that we don't, this feels like something that we either have to go over budget
I mean,
or,
we're only looking for for
right,
$3,300, so,
and that's installed, right?
Show me.
And everything is set up.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it just either they try to skimp and get it in there, or,
I'll make a motion, we buy the, or have Julie get the Canon color.
I'll second.
I second it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And it would come out of the town hall operating expense.
Town hall operating
Yeah.
expense, the remainder of the balance.
Goes to our earlier conversation too. Does the newsletter, do they actually pay for when they use the copier?
No.
Okay, because when she talked about the costs of it, she mentioned and printing. So I didn't think so, just.
But there's no charge for black and white, there's no
Right, there's no
additional
charge for
fee,
black.
color only,
Yeah,
other than paper.
that's true.
But still, it is using the toner, the
Right,
printer, the
yeah.
feeder, it's wear and tear on the machine.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, because she did clump in printing and her costs.
Yeah, it sounds like she might not. Yeah. Okay. So, moving on. Okay, clothing bin at transfer station. So we have a letter from Ryan Jones of Apparel Impact.
Yep.
He's got a request to place a clothing collection bin at the transfer station. No cost to town, they conduct weekly collections. Art and Jerry are in favor of it, have room for it. They said it would keep textiles out of the waste stream. There was one at the transfer station in the past, but the organization pulled it. They were getting too many non-clothing related art items. Apparel Impact will use non-clothing items, sheets, small pillows, etc. for insulation and or furniture stuffing materials. What would you like to do?
Well, it's funny because I've been wondering about this myself and was gonna actually start looking why, what options are out there.
Yeah.
Because textiles is so much weight in our,
Yep.
so this will help reduce what's going in our trash.
Is this something that we need a motion on? Can we do this by consensus?
You can
Oh,
do
yeah.
that consent.
Sure.
Okay.
It's free to us. If
But we can be
it
blamed
doesn't work,
later.
they take it away.
Yeah.
We have space for it. I mean, there's
I
no.
think this is a great idea, and I think it will really help our transfer station as well.
You can make a motion.
I don't need to make a motion, we can do consensus. What do we think?
Huh?
Are you for this?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, consensus?
Yeah.
Consensus.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Moving on. Wallingford Day Appointments. Heather Johnson and Naomi Bombardi Wilson have been quite active with planning the annual Wallingford Day celebration. The committee would like them appointed as members. This would increase the committee from 5 to 7. Do we want to appoint them? I think we discussed this.
How many members are we allowed on that, or did we decide?
Well, you created when we established Wallingford Day, you
Yeah.
created a 5-member committee, but now they'd like these 2 on there.
And they had come to us a few
They did.
months
Right.
ago
Yeah.
asking if we could expand to
Yes.
7 just because
Yes.
Yep.
quorum stuff.
Yes, and we seem to be in agreement on it before. So are we good
need all
with
the
this?
help we can get.
Okay,
Yeah.
By consensus?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay, moving on. Okay. Select board comments, concerns.
For the rec camp, have we heard Ari? Has he been denied or anything yet?
He contacted me the other day and said his internship, it is not gonna happen, so he would be interested. I contacted Lori and I said, Ari's now interested, but her budget is very close. I said, do you have room for him? She said, I think we can make some room for him. So I put them together in an email and say,
Okay.
Ari, why don't you talk to Lori and see if it works out? Because I don't think it's gonna be a lot of time and he may want to
My
think
concern is
about
that
it.
because if Olive does not get her lifeguard for whatever reason, they do not have a lifeguard unless
Right.
Ari is hired.
Right,
Yes, and that could,
right, yeah.
so yes.
So, I mean, what's gonna be a challenge is that her lifeguard certification isn't until June, so.
Right.
That's gonna make it difficult because, you know, they need to have a conversation because he needs to know what is available. And it is only for 5 weeks, so he's gonna be doing limited time only for 5 weeks. But if we need a lifeguard,
Yeah.
He's one.
yes.
And, I mean,
And
what if
maybe-
Olive can't be there all 5 weeks?
Mhm.
And any confirmation since Laurie is the only person over 18.
Right,
If she is out or whatever, what will be the procedure?
right.
Oh,
If she calls, I
that
know
whole thing.
Lisa's supposed to be a backup, but what if Lisa can't either?
Right.
What is the,
Yeah, and Lisa's not a lifeguard.
no, but I mean,
Just having somebody
If
over
Laurie-
18, like,
comes sick in the morning or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
and she can't make it there, will there be camp? Because we will not have
Right.
anybody 18.
Right.
Is Lisa able to do that on such a short notice?
Okay.
Just what, because when they put this out, they need to somehow warn payer,
Yeah. Yep.
due to,
Yep.
because I don't think Ari's, Ari's not 18.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay.
I just, before any advertising and stuff goes out, we need all that cleared out, because maybe 5 weeks won't work. All those parameters. And then that does open up more money for
For-
lifeguards
right.
if they only decide to do 4 weeks. Go back to that. Is something maybe they need to truly think about, that it is great, the concept of 5, but do we have the true needed staffing to advertise it as 5?
right.
We already have been accepting, actually, well, I mean, let me see, the July 4th week is not busy. So if we were to eliminate a week, that might be a good one to go to, but like the August ones are very busy. So we've already been advertising 5 weeks, we've already gotten.
Oh, I haven't seen it, that's kind of,
Yeah, we've already gotten
Okay.
at least probably 10 kids in each of the 5
Okay.
weeks, so.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just concerned about.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I trust everybody there. That's not on any of them, to make sure that's clear.
That was
Just-
my concern too, with not having co-directors, and that was one of the questions I asked Lori, what happens if you're sick? And she said, you know, would Lisa be the backup? And she said she discussed it with Lisa and she would be, so.
Yeah, 'cause I know until we met with her, she was also wasn't planning on being there the full 8 hours.
Right, and that changed.
Right.
Right.
She didn't realize not to have.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I would love Ari, if we had the budget for Ari, I would love to have him because
Right,
he was
He's
fantastic
very
last summer.
experienced.
yes,
And a lifeguard. He's
Yeah.
a
he was very good.
very good employee, yeah.
But, you know. Okay, just wanted an update, because I'm just, you don't want to get it to be summer and then tell these parents, I am sorry.
Right.
That's
Because that
right.
will make us look really bad.
And then that word gets out.
Right, or if we have to cancel a whole bunch of days at the last minute.
Yep.
Or be at a lake and not have a lifeguard.
Right.
I mean, I would really like if she could work our schedule as much as possible to keep him.
To keep him.
Yeah.
Even if it's something where they know, like if the idea of like them being at the lake and not being able to go in, maybe it's he comes in for 2 hours on afternoons
Right.
so that he
something.
can, so that they can get into the lake if there's nobody else going to be lifeguarding.
Yeah. 'Cause you never, I mean, I'm sure she will pass, but you never know. So we're betting on that.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, other business. Erika says that she will take care of posting notices as well as, placing a Rutland Herald ad for the Select Board's public hearing on proposed zoning on June 17th. And we have some correspondence here from DRB, Energy, Wallingford Day Minutes, County Sheriff, Wallingford Day Minutes,
We haven't
and Prudential Committee minutes.
I think we have Conservation Committee minutes too.
Well, those are extra.
Oh.
Since after I sent the memo out, then we got conservation. I think you might have the fire prudential committees there.
Yep. So a
Maybe
couple
Rex
of
as well.
add-ins.
Yes.
Great.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, sounds good to me.
We need a second.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.